TJ, I know that we are a wrestling pod.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know
So
we talk wrestling all day.
But
my man's got other interests that I want to tap into.
I know.
You're a
here we
car
go.
guy, man. You're a car
Yeah.
guy. You
I
know,
love it.
you're still pushing the what was it, the IS 300 Lexus, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a 5.0 now. So
Okay. What
I had to make
the
a
Lexus 5.0?
bro, Lexus King driving the IS 300 drove me crazy last night when I found out.
Lexus, I'm also a Lexus guy. I got an SC 430. So
Yeah.
I'm also in that Lexus, that family.
Give us some of your dream cars. Give us a top 5 or something. You know, let us know about your love of
the
cars.
The story. I'll get to the top 5 in a second, but the story about that Lexus goes deeper than the name. So my very first job when I was 13 years old was at my uncle's body shop. Now this was like a junkyard where they would buy wrecked cars at auction that had like bodywork damage, and then a bunch of old guys, they would fix them up and then resell them as like salvage titles. And it was a great way for a young person that was trying to afford a car, you know what I mean? And so my uncle was like, "Hey, if you help us out around the shop, do this, that, or the other, you know, pay your dues, eventually I'll help you get a car." And they had this blue Lexus IS 300 manual in the back corner. And I thought, man, I'm going to bust my ass and I'm going to work here as long as I have to afford to get that damn car. Mm-hmm. Well, then one of the days, getting closer and leading up to when I was finally able to get it, the freaking one of the shop owner's sons comes in and he goes, "Oh, I want that one." And then they started work. Of course it was currently wrecked, but they picked it out and then they started to get to work on it. And then it became his. And I thought, man, one day I just want to get that IS. So purchasing that car, last year or whatever, was a way for me to sort of fulfill my little childhood dream of owning one while also paying an homage to my character name, right? So I thought that was really cool. But no, right now I had a motorcycle stint where I was really big into riding for a bit. And so I had just, John Cena pulled me aside one day at the PC, said, "Hey, I saw you coming in on your bike, and I just want to say, I like cars and stuff too, and I used to ride, but you know what? I stopped riding once I got this job because, if I get hurt, I don't get paid." And then when John Cena says something like that to you, you pretty much have to just, hang up the motorcycle boots and focus on wrestling. So I needed something a little more fun. So I took the IS and I sold it. And then I sold my motorcycle and got myself a Mustang 5.0 2015. Performance package. So it's a really awesome car. I've always been a fan of driving manual. Now that I've had them, I was always very critical of Mustangs, but now that I've owned one, like for the price per buck, I mean, you're getting so much car. I mean, it's an amazing car. I love it. But yeah, top 5. I mean, obviously, I think the McLaren F1 is like the most legendary car ever. Oof. I think that goes down as like the top car. I was always a huge fan of the James Bond Aston Martin. Always my favorite as a kid. That's probably number 2. I mean, I guess we have to throw the Lexus in there also. Not only that, but like in the Need for Speed games, I would always get the Lexus IS too. Right. It was always very fun for me. And then I guess we'll throw my dad's Hummer up there, at number 4, because goddamn, that Hummer basically changed the course of my life. So it's a very important car. And also, I believe he had a Porsche as well.
Yeah,
so, I don't know what specific one it was, but I've always aspired to have a little Porsche at some point in my life. It's just they're so expensive these days.
Yeah, of course. I'm a big fan of Porsche. Like when I was a kid, like what got me into like where I started paying attention to cars is this movie Gone in 60 Seconds, Nicolas Cage, Shelby GT 500. Like I like
classic.
To this day, I need that in my life. Goldberg had a Barracuda, and I remember asking my brother, "What car is that?" And just like, so I feel you. When I found out you're a car guy, I was like, okay, I gotta ask him that. But I also know for our gamers out there like myself, my man is on Twitch. You're still on Twitch, right? Lexis.
Yeah, I was streaming last night. I streamed all night last night. It was crazy. Time flies.
What are some of your favorite games? What are you playing right now? Right now, I'm stuck on Monster Hunter Wilds with the homies. Shout out Chris and Gio. But
sorry.
No, what are you playing? What are you playing?
I've recently I grew up playing like World of Warcraft, and then I had a period of college where I like wanted to go pro in League of Legends. So like
Mm.
I'm still like pretty proficient at the game. I'm a little bit of an OG. I started playing League of Legends like when it first came out, and I've taken like an 8-year break, so I'm still kind of rusty.
Mm.
And then I've kind of quit playing World of Warcraft. It's just it becomes a little too much. But no, I've through the locker room and through meeting a lot of the guys here, I've developed a friendship with Axiom, and he has gotten me into the Magic the Gathering, which is just like a
Ooh.
whole nother like it's like, and we're playing with the real cards, and we're showing up to the tournaments, and we're like, you know what I mean, like we're super competitive about it. It's super
That's
fun.
sick.
And then they have the digital version of that as well, the MTG Arena that you can play online. And like I grew up with the cards, but as a
Mm.
kid, I didn't know how to play the game. I just
Yeah.
collected the cards. I didn't really know what was going on. But then when I got older, I tried out Hearthstone, and that kind of taught me like how to play a card game for real. And then so now I just actually play the real card game. So it's pretty cool. So between that, and then I'll stream League of Legends. And then I've never been much of a wrestling game guy. Like I've
Mm.
always been like fantasy, RPG, whatever, Skyrim, Elden Ring, I've always liked that stuff. But I've always been like a multiplayer person too. Like so,
You're.
I used to play Smash Brothers competitively,
Mhm.
Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate. I would go to tourneys for that. And then yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
Bro, I was gonna say, bro, you're in
Just-
you in
I'm a gamer,
2K25,
yeah.
right? You in
I'm a gamer, that's for
2K25.
yeah. So I was gonna say like I was never a big fan of wrestling games, but the last one I played was SmackDown vs. Raw '07, and I loved it.
Mm.
And I'd always play as Brock Lesnar. But now that I'm in WWE 2K25, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna give it a chance. And I play it and I love it. It's a great game. It's really, really fun. I created my own character, which isn't myself, but of course, in like the first freaking, so in the first like story mode, like quests,
Mm.
you like go up against me in this group. Like I'm like a bad guy in the game, which is pretty cool because like as a gamer myself, I've always thought like how cool it would be to be in a video game, and
Mm.
now like even though it's WWE, but like it's still a video game, and I'm one of the villains in the game.
Yeah.
So our group is called Mutiny, and we have like this faction called Mutiny, and it's like the first bosses you face, and it's like me and KO and Bailey and Trick and EO, and then me and JC Jane are the intergender tag champs. Like it's just so funny, like how like
It's a
these
stacked
game
group.
developers, yeah, these game developers, like they probably don't know too much of what goes on with the booking and everything behind the scenes here. So they're just taking the characters that they like, I would assume, and like putting them together. I'd assume Triple H isn't like telling the developers like how to book the damn, story mode. You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure he's
So
got
these
more
game devs are just-
busy things to do.
Yeah,
He's a little busy.
yeah. So I'm a little bit flattered that they chose me to be like a pivotal part of the story mode. And then also, if you go into the tutorial where it talks about like the grappling and stuff, it uses me and Charlie Dempsey as like the dummies for the tutorial. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
That's sick.
Another
man.
second generation guy.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I'm always happy to see a gamer in a game, dude. So respect to you, man.
It's cool like that, and then like getting the action figure in the same year. It's been like a really good year for me to sort of be like, immortalized by those things, and to show that I've kind of did my part in this business, and I've created my own name. For the first time, I'm starting to feel like my own man. You know what I mean? I'm starting to step outside that shadow.
Watch new episodes of No Contest Wrestling every Wednesday or listen wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us at No Contest Wrestling Podcast on Instagram.